The 3-day deadline had come. Outside the city, the armies were still poised for war. Have you made your decision? Patriarch Huang Tian, the person cultivating within the 9 serene yellow springs, is Xiao Yan's woman. If you touch her, Xiao Yan will never let this matter rest. Xiao Yan abducted my son and used him to threaten my clan. He also carries the will of my demon phoenix bloodline. That man is already an enemy of the heavenly demon phoenix clan. Do you truly think I care whether he lets this matter rest? Huang Tian's voice was cold. Since Xiao Yan had the courage to seize my son and use him as leverage, then I shall repay him in kind. I will capture his woman first and speak afterward. The moment his words fell, he said no more. His figure shot straight toward the 9 serene yellow springs. I have long heard that Patriarch Huang Tian's strength is extraordinary. Today let me, Yao Ming, experience it for myself. Yao Ming's voice turned grim and murderous. In an instant, killing intent surged into the sky. At his command, the elders of the 9 serene deep-ground python clan answered in unison. Their figures flashed upward, forming a great coiling serpent formation. As the elders roared, beams of light erupted from their bodies. In less than a minute, an enormous formation took shape. Under the constant shifts of Yao Ming's hand seals, a colossal serpent thousands of Zhang Long slowly appeared. At the same time, the experts of the heavenly demon phoenix clan in the distance rapidly spread out. With a thunderous cry, an enormous golden phoenix, no smaller than the giant serpent, appeared and stood in confrontation with it. While Yao Ming and the others were entangled by the heavenly demon phoenix clan's experts, Huang Tian had already arrived above the 9 serene yellow springs. He stretched out his hand and clawed downward. Come out for this, king. Yao Ming looked at the violently churning 9 serene yellow springs, rage burning in his heart, but he was held back and could not move even half a step. Just as Huang Tian was about to drag the figure beneath the yellow springs out, his arms suddenly trembled. He lifted his head and looked into the distance. A figure was racing toward him from the edge of the sky like a bolt of thunder. Along with that figure came a vast phantom. A strange, furious, low sound suddenly resounded between heaven and earth. A terrifying soul sound wave slammed into Huang Tian before he could react. His body was blasted backward, smashing through several mountains before he finally steadied himself in a sorry state. Huang Tian, you old dog. You're courting death. The icy shout rang across the sky. Under countless watching gazes, the enormous phantom quickly faded away. A young man in black appeared in everyone's sight, immediately stirring waves of shocked cries. Xiao Yan. Why is he here? I heard the heavenly demon phoenix clan came here precisely to capture Xiao Yan's woman. Looks like the rumors were true. Brother Xiao Yan. Yao Ming also noticed this sudden change. His eyes swept over, and delight instantly surged across his face. As long as Xiao Yan arrived in time, today's trouble could still be resolved. In the distant sky, Xiao Yan nodded toward Yao Ming. Then he lowered his head and looked at the 9 serene yellow springs below. With a wave of his sleeve, he gently pushed the pillar of water Huang Tian had forcefully drawn out back into the spring, calming the enormous vortex. Only after doing this did Xiao Yan turn his ice-cold gaze toward Huang Tian, who was slowly rising from the ruins. At that moment, killing intent gradually climbed in Xiao Yan's heart. The greatest taboo during seclusion was being disturbed. Such interference could not only ruin all of a cultivator's efforts, but could even endanger their life. Huang Tian's earlier tyrannical action had clearly shown no concern for Cai Lin's survival. That was something Xiao Yan could not tolerate. Huang Tian slowly spoke. You are Xiao Yan. You have finally appeared. Xiao Yan raised his brows slightly. You were trying to force me to show myself? Huang Tian showed no surprise at his arrival. Clearly, his real target had never been Cai Lin, but Xiao Yan himself. Huang Tian stared at Xiao Yan. In all these years, you are the first person who has dared to capture an elder of my clan as a hostage. I can also sense the aura of the heavenly demon phoenix clan on your body. It seems the elders spoke the truth. You possess the will of the demon phoenix. For these 2 reasons alone, you have already been placed on the heavenly demon phoenix clan's kill list. Today, I will use your life to tell everyone that whoever offends my clan shall be killed without mercy." Xiao Yan smiled faintly. What a fine "killed without mercy." The heavenly demon phoenix clan truly is domineering. I only wonder whether Patriarch Huang Tian has the qualifications to say such words. Huang Tian's eyes chilled. His figure appeared before Xiao Yan almost instantly. A brilliant giant claw tore fiercely toward him. Yellow Spring's palm. Facing Huang Tian's attack, Xiao Yan did not dodge. His hand seal changed, and an energy palm over 100 zhang wide shot out. With a thunderous bang, the palm and claw collided violently in the sky. In this head-on exchange, a tremendous force surged over, forcing Xiao Yan to retreat several steps. Huang Tian was, after all, a late-stage 5-star Do Sheng expert. Xiao Yan said nothing. His figure quickly withdrew. Huang Tian gave a disdainful laugh. In the blink of an eye, he caught up to Xiao Yan and punched out fiercely. The enormous force sent Xiao Yan flying hundreds of zhang backward. Immediately afterward, a sharp fist wind came tearing toward him again. Seeing this, Xiao Yan sneered inwardly. Lines on his forehead rapidly emerged, and his aura suddenly surged at a terrifying speed, directly reaching the level of a late-stage 5-star Do Sheng. Flame Spirit Finger. Xiao Yan bent 2 fingers. Pink flames rapidly gathered at his fingertips, condensing into a half-inch long finger of fire. This attack was formed entirely from heavenly flames. When it landed on Huang Tian's hand, it pierced into the bones of his fist like a sharp awl. Xiao Yan's hand seal changed, and a cold smile rose at the corner of his mouth. The pink finger left inside Huang Tian's palm suddenly exploded. Pink fire waves swept across the sky. As the flames gradually faded, Huang Tian's figure once again appeared before everyone's eyes. At this moment, most of his clothes had been burned away. A bloody hole had appeared in his palm. Had he not reacted quickly, his entire arm might already have been crippled. What a pity! Xiao Yan looked at this scene and shook his head with some regret. Huang Tian looked at his own miserable state. Then he laughed in fury. Good. Good. Very good. This king has truly underestimated you today. Xiao Yan's expression remained calm, but his heart grew vigilant. He could sense the vast Do Qi within Huang Tian violently fluctuating. It seemed the patriarch of the heavenly demon phoenix clan had been completely enraged. As Huang Tian's Do Qi boiled, rolling dark clouds suddenly surged through the sky. Deep thunder rumbled within them. Demon Phoenix Sacred Form. Huang Tian's body rapidly expanded. Then an enormous demon phoenix appeared beneath the sky. The pressure it released made many onlookers tremble in fear. He has actually transformed into his true body. He was forced to this extent? When Yao Ming saw this, surprise flashed through his eyes before his expression turned grave. After Huang Tian transformed into his true body, his strength would increase by at least 3-fold. Xiao Yan's situation was likely far from optimistic. This is troublesome. Huang Tian stared at Xiao Yan, cruelty flashing in his eyes. He wanted Xiao Yan to fall into his hands in the most wretched state possible. With a single thought, Huang Tian's enormous wings suddenly shook. The sky seemed to dim in an instant. His massive body tore through space at astonishing speed. Towering mountain peaks below shattered into ash beneath the terrifying shockwaves. Many people sucked in a cold breath at this sight. This kind of charge required no Do Qi technique at all. The current Huang Tian himself was the most terrifying weapon. Xiao Yan's expression grew solemn. His hands swiftly formed seals. The enormous soul phantom appeared once more. Then a soul sound wave rang out and crashed fiercely into the massive figure. Huang Tian was indeed powerful and frightening. But against such beings, Xiao Yan was not helpless. His soul had already reached the great perfection of the heavenly state. That was precisely their natural counter. Huang Tian's colossal body was struck head-on by the soul sound wave, and his speed immediately slowed. His soul throbbed violently under the impact. After being hit, Huang Tian's eyes turned blood-red. He gritted his teeth and endured the intense pain in his soul, continuing to charge toward Xiao Yan. As long as he struck Xiao Yan's body, Xiao Yan would surely die. Seeing Huang Tian fight so desperately, Xiao Yan's expression changed slightly. At this moment, he could not retreat. Huang Tian was faster than him. If he withdrew, he would inevitably be chased down. Even if he was confident in himself, such a terrifying impact would instantly leave him heavily injured. A ruthless light flashed in Xiao Yan's eyes. His hands formed seals. This time, Xiao Yan directly unleashed the Yellow Springs Heaven's wrath 3 times in succession. Bang! 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 3 soul sound waves struck Huang Tian one after another, blasting apart the golden feathers on his body and instantly dimming his brilliant golden light. After being forcibly struck by 4 Yellow Springs Heaven's wrath attacks, even someone as powerful as Huang Tian could not withstand it. His soul began trembling violently, and a bone-deep pain spread throughout his entire body, leaving him almost without the strength to flap his wings. Xiao Yan, I want to see how many more times you can use that. The unbearable pain made Huang Tian's mind turn hazy and crazed. His enormous eyes seemed ready to drip blood. As his wings shook again, his massive body appeared several hundred zhang in front of Xiao Yan. The terrifying airflow madly tore at Xiao Yan's body. Not good. Seeing this, Yao Ming and the others' expressions changed drastically. Xiao Yan looked at the enormous figure about to collide with him. He did not retreat. Instead, he raised his palm. A dazzling fire lotus with 6 different colors slowly appeared in his hand. A destructive aura quietly spread. However, just as Xiao Yan was about to throw out the fire lotus condensed from 6 heavenly flames, the 9 serene yellow springs below suddenly exploded. A 9-colored pillar of light shot into the sky, placing itself between Xiao Yan and Huang Tian. The sudden change shocked and confused many people. Clearly, none of them understood where this 9-colored pillar of light had come from. This pressure. Yao Ming and the elders of the 9 serene deep-ground python clan stared at the pillar of light in bewilderment. From within it, they could feel a pressure that came from their bloodline and soul. Under countless astonished gazes, Huang Tian's enormous body crashed directly into the pillar of light. A heaven-shaking boom rang out. The entire world trembled under the violent impact. After the collision, enormous cracks appeared across the 9-colored pillar of light. Then its surface exploded apart. A 9-colored snake tail nearly 1,000 zhang long shot out from within. With one sweep, it tightly coiled around Huang Tian's body. The light shattered. A 9-colored giant python even larger than Huang Tian appeared before everyone's eyes. Looking at the enormous 9-colored python stretching across the world, waves of gasps rang out. Shock filled countless gazes. That is the 7-colored heaven-swallowing python. No, that is the legendary 9-colored heaven-swallowing python. This is a divine beast that only appeared in ancient legends. Its strength, in a certain sense, even surpassed the ancestor of serpent-type magical beasts, the ancient heavenly serpent. Yao Ming had never imagined that he would personally witness such a being today. No wonder Xiao Yan had allowed Cai Lin to cultivate in the 9 serene yellow springs. So she possessed such an identity. Huang Tian's eyes were also filled with shock. He roared in disbelief. How is this possible? How can the 9-colored heaven-swallowing python still exist on this continent? Facing his furious roar, the 9-colored giant python remained cold. The snake tail wrapped around him slowly increased its strength. Feeling his body being crushed by immense force, Huang Tian raised his head and let out a sharp cry. Brilliant golden light erupted from his body like blades, madly slashing at the 9-colored giant python. Facing his counterattack, the 9-colored giant python's body trembled. Dozens of 7-colored snake scales automatically fell from it. In an instant, they transformed into dozens of enormous 7-colored heaven-swallowing pythons. Their tails intertwined, forming a net that tightly surrounded Huang Tian. Then those 7-colored heaven-swallowing pythons raised their heads and cried out together. The net rapidly shrank. At this moment, even Huang Tian felt his heart tremble. The thought of retreat immediately rose in him. His massive body shook, returning to human form. Then he rushed desperately out of the snake net. Just as he thought he had escaped danger, a giant snake tail descended from the sky and struck him viciously. Huang Tian's body instantly smashed downward like a cannonball, and blood sprayed wildly from his mouth. At that moment, the experts of the heavenly demon Phoenix clan were frozen stiff. Facing the enormous pressure in the sky, not a single one dared to step forward to rescue him. As silence enveloped the entire scene, the 9-colored heaven-swallowing python's body began to gradually shrink. Finally, under everyone's stunned gazes, it transformed into a beautiful figure. After revealing herself, Cai Lin lightly waved her hand. The 7-colored heaven-swallowing python net instantly turned into 7-colored light and merged back into her body. They were actually soul bodies of 7-colored heaven-swallowing pythons. Only then did everyone realize in horror that those were not simple energy constructs, but true heaven-swallowing python souls. At this thought, even Yao Ming felt dizzy. The elders of the 9 serene deep-ground python clan were even more shocked. How could so many rare 7-colored heaven-swallowing pythons suddenly appear? Cai Lin ignored everyone's shock. She merely turned her head slightly and looked at the young man in black nearby. On her charming face, a smile slowly appeared. When Xiao Yan saw this, his heart trembled slightly. Then he shook his head and laughed softly. "Your seclusion is complete?" Cai Lin nodded. Her beautiful eyes swept over him, and she raised her brows. "Your strength has increased quite a bit again." Xiao Yan helplessly spread his hands. "I can't compare with you." Judging from Cai Lin's appearance, this seclusion had clearly caused her strength to soar to an extremely powerful level. "Is that so?" Cai Lin walked to Xiao Yan's side and swiftly reached out with a jade-like finger. Xiao Yan clenched his palm, and pink flames immediately bloomed. Cai Lin's finger stopped outside the flames. She said with slight regret, "I thought I might finally surpass you this time." She still remembered the feeling of once being far stronger than Xiao Yan. What left her rather depressed was that such a situation seemed unlikely to happen again. Xiao Yan was also somewhat helpless. After this seclusion, Cai Lin seemed to have returned to that untamable Queen Medusa. She was cold, beautiful, enchanting, and now possessed even greater confidence. He then said gently, "Enough playing around. What level has your strength reached?" Xiao Yan became serious. Cai Lin smiled faintly and answered honestly, "I should be a 4-star Do Sheng." Xiao Yan raised his brows and asked softly, "Then that attack earlier did not seem like something a 4-star Do Sheng could display." He was referring to the shrinking power of the net Cai Lin had shown earlier. Even someone as strong as Huang Tian could only choose to avoid its edge. With the strength of a 4-star Do Sheng alone, it seemed difficult to achieve that. That was borrowed power. Cai Lin hid nothing from Xiao Yan. She stepped forward, drawing a little closer to him, then raised her arm. On her smooth wrist, snake markings glowing with 7-colored light wound along her jade-like arm. Xiao Yan's eyes flashed with surprise. Cai Lin said softly, "In the depths of the 9 serene yellow springs, there is a hidden nest of the 7-colored heaven-swallowing python race. I obtained the inheritance of my predecessors. Although the bodies of some predecessors had already perished, their souls still existed. I awakened them, and they now reside within me. By borrowing their power, I was able to contend with Huang Tian. If I relied only on myself, I fear I could not do it." "So that is how it is." Xiao Yan suddenly understood, then asked, "There won't be any problems, will there?" "Although the remnant souls of those predecessors are incomplete, they are, in a certain sense, under my control." Hearing Cai Lin's words, Xiao Yan felt slightly relieved. "It's fine. If there is a chance in the future, we can try to repair their souls." In the distance, Yao Ming, who was sitting weakly on the ground covered in wounds, watched Cai Lin return and finally let out a long breath. A relieved smile appeared on his face. He knew that his shocking gamble, one that had staked the lives of his entire clan, had been won. At the same time, Xiao Yan's gaze turned toward Huang Tian, who had been heavily injured by Cai Lin in the distance. A battered figure was barely rising into the air. At this moment, panic surged in Huang Tian's heart. If he fought Xiao Yan alone, he could still struggle on. But now that Cai Lin had joined the battle, he felt an unprecedented pressure. Xiao Yan laughed softly. "Patriarch Huang Tian, do you still intend to continue capturing people?" Hearing this, Huang Tian's expression changed slightly. His voice was hoarse. Xiao Yan, this time, I admit defeat. Xiao Yan's tone carried a hint of mockery. Do you truly think you can pass over this matter so easily just by admitting defeat? If he had arrived a little later today, Cai Lin's cultivation might truly have suffered a terrible mishap. If anything had happened, how would he have faced it? Beside him, Cai Lin's expression was indifferent. She spoke flatly. Kill him. Seeing that Xiao Yan and Cai Lin were both resolute and merciless, Huang Tian's expression grew increasingly ugly. He said coldly, Xiao Yan, I have a piece of news to tell you. Perhaps it will make you lose all interest in staying here. Xiao Yan remained calm. Speak, Huang Tian slowly said. Have you ever wondered why I chose this exact moment to go to such lengths to lure you away from the Central Plains? You have always had a close relationship with the new Dragon Emperor of the Taishu Ancient Dragon Clan, haven't you? If I were you, I would immediately rush to the empty realm. Otherwise, you may only make it back in time to collect the corpse of that new Dragon Emperor. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's face instantly darkened. He raised his hand sharply. The dragon seal in his palm was gradually fading. Go! He said no more. With one palm strike, he tore open the void and swept into the spatial crack together with Cai Lin. Watching the two leave in haste, the cold smile that had just risen on Huang Tian's face suddenly froze when a chilling voice came from within the spatial crack. Huang Tian, I will remember what happened today. If even half a word of what you said is false, I will make your entire heavenly demon phoenix clan accompany you in burial. In the empty realm, two streaks of red light shot forward at extreme speed. Xiao Yan had already pushed his speed to the limit. Ever since the last defeat of the three great dragon kings, the situation of the Taishu Ancient Dragon Clan had become extremely favorable for Eastern Dragon Island. Based on the circumstances at that time, it had not been impossible for Eastern Dragon Island to reunify the clan. Even though the three great dragon kings who escaped still retained some strength, they should not have been able to stir up much trouble. This belief had long been deeply rooted in Xiao Yan's heart. But the current situation made him abruptly realize that he might have underestimated the complexity of the matter. The aura from the dragon seal was becoming increasingly faint. Clearly, Ziyan's condition had already become extremely dire. What exactly had happened to the ancient dragon clan? Moreover, the direction indicated by the dragon seal was not Eastern Dragon Island. It seemed Ziyan was not there. Xiao Yan clenched his fists tightly, desperately suppressing the anger in his heart. His speed surged again, and he raced madly in the direction sensed by the dragon seal. Within the empty realm, a huge island floated in the air. Above the island, it was already surrounded by dense crowds of people. At the top of the island, a white-haired elder roared furiously. The Dragon Transformation Demon Formation? Northern Dragon King, that shameless bastard. This forbidden art was destroyed by the ancient dragon clan thousands of years ago. How can he still use it? Hearing his roar, the elders of Eastern Dragon Island fell silent. Beside him, Elder Zhu Li hesitated slightly before speaking. Back then, the one in charge of the ancient dragon's secret techniques was the great-grandfather of the Northern Dragon King. The Dragon Transformation Demon Formation was also supposedly destroyed by his own hands. As for whether he secretly kept the formation's method, no one knows. The Dragon Transformation Demon Formation was a forbidden art of the Taishu Ancient Dragon Clan. It had been created by an extraordinary expert of the clan in ancient times. Once the formation was activated, all living beings within it, except the person serving as the formation eye, would be turned into blood water and absorbed by the formation eye, thereby greatly increasing that person's strength. Because its methods were cruel and bloody, the Dragon Transformation Demon Formation had been classified as a forbidden art and was ultimately destroyed. No one had expected that the Northern Dragon King still possessed the method to use it. Even more terrifying was that this madman had directly laid the Great Formation over Northern Dragon Island. Many experts from the 13 Island Alliance had gathered there. Overnight, the vast majority of experts on the island had been turned into blood water and devoured by the Northern Dragon King. His strength had therefore skyrocketed to an extremely horrifying level. Ha ha ha! The Northern Dragon King's wild laughter echoed through heaven and earth. I originally planned to let you little girl live a few more days. I never expected you to dare bring people here yourself. Perfect. This king was just thinking there were not enough sacrifices. If I devour you, this king's bloodline will surely surpass every member of the Taishu ancient dragon clan. Dense blood light shrouded the enormous island. Mad laughter and terrifying energy fluctuations continued to surge from within the bloodlight. Two figures locked in battle pierced through the blood mist and appeared before everyone's eyes. One of them was Zi Yan. At this moment, her face was pale, and her aura was weak. Although she had once again summoned the dragon-slaying sword, the power in her body was clearly far weaker than the last time. Standing opposite Zi Yan was a bizarre figure. On his shoulders rested a huge head, and on that head were three faces: the Western Dragon King, the Southern Dragon King, and the Northern Dragon King. The Northern Dragon King stared at the weakened Zi Yan and let out a sinister laugh. Everything ends here. The Taishu ancient dragon clan will ultimately belong to me. As his words fell, he immediately reached out a large hand and grabbed fiercely toward the top of Zi Yan's head. Outside the blood formation, the experts of Eastern Dragon Island were horrified when they saw this scene. Their eyes instantly filled with blood-red veins. But just as the Northern Dragon King's palm was about to touch Zi Yan's head, a cluster of pink flames suddenly rose from above her. A terrifying heat surged outward. The Northern Dragon King's hand abruptly froze in midair. He slowly raised his head toward the void and shouted sharply, "Xiao Yan, come out!" As the Northern Dragon King's shout fell, the pink flames above Zi Yan's head rapidly spread, instantly transforming into a flame barrier that tightly protected her. At the same time, a cold shout suddenly rang out. "Northern Dragon King! So it really was you causing trouble." Immediately afterward, the space beside Zi Yan rippled. Two figures, Xiao Yan and Cai Lin, slowly appeared. Their arrival instantly drew the gazes of the Eastern Dragon Island clansmen outside the formation. Cries of surprise rose one after another. "It's Xiao Yan!" But before long, the expressions of several elders became solemn again. They knew Xiao Yan was a Dousheng expert, but in the current situation, even the arrival of a Dousheng might not be enough to reverse the outcome. That thought made many hearts sink. That bastard Huang Tian is truly useless. He only delayed you for such a short time. While everyone was silent, the Northern Dragon King stared fixedly at Xiao Yan and spoke coldly. "But the situation is already set. Since you have come here, you are merely adding another sacrifice." Xiao Yan calmly swept his gaze over the Northern Dragon King. His eyes paused briefly on the strange head with three faces. His soul perception had already detected the traces of the other party's soaring strength, and his brows faintly furrowed. This fellow had actually become cruel to such an extent. At that moment, Zi Yan beside him suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. Blood spread from her shoulder, continuously corroding her body. Seeing this, the Northern Dragon King burst into loud laughter. "You were struck by the blood energy of the dragon transformation demon formation. Even with your dragon emperor physique, I fear you cannot endure it." He had sacrificed the entire population of Northern Dragon Island and paid an enormous price to reverse the situation. Seeing Zi Yan in such a miserable state filled his heart with satisfaction. Zi Yan looked weakly at Xiao Yan and Cai Lin, then smiled bitterly. "This time is not as easy as last time. That fellow devoured the flesh and blood of the Southern and Western Dragon Kings, along with countless clansmen. His strength has already faintly touched the level of a 6-star Dousheng. In these 2 years, although my strength has improved, I have not reached 5-star Dousheng. Even with the Dragon Emperor physique supporting me, I am no match for him. The gap between us is too great." Xiao Yan smiled at her and said nothing. He merely placed his hand gently on Zi Yan's blood-stained shoulder. The Northern Dragon King sneered at the sight. "What? Do you think you can remove the dragon transformation blood energy?" But before his laughter had fully faded, he stared in astonishment as strands of blood energy rapidly rose from Zi Yan's shoulder before slowly dispersing into nothingness. This scene caused surprise to flash through the Northern Dragon King's eyes. Only now did he realize that the heavenly flame in Xiao Yan's hand had undergone a completely different transformation from before. Xiao Yan ignored the Northern Dragon King. After guiding the purifying lotus demon flame through Zi Yan's body for a full cycle and completely clearing away all of the dragon-transforming blood energy within her, Xiao Yan slowly withdrew his palm. A trace of color returned to Zi Yan's face, but immediately afterward, her body began to shrink. In the end, she changed back into the appearance of a little girl. I'm too weak right now. This form uses the least strength, Zi Yan said softly with a bitter smile. Xiao Yan smiled and rubbed her head. You're cuter like this, he said gently. You and Cai Lin should leave first. Leave the rest to me. Zi Yan froze for a moment when she heard this, then clenched her teeth and said, He's very strong. Xiao Yan still wore a faint smile as he replied softly, I'm very strong too. Only then did Zi Yan suddenly realize that Xiao Yan's strength had once again surpassed hers. A flash of joy immediately surfaced on her face. No matter when it was, Xiao Yan always gave people a sense of security. Soon after, Xiao Yan had Cai Lin take Zi Yan and leave the formation as quickly as possible. As for their departure, the North Dragon King did not try to stop them. In his mind, once he had dealt with Xiao Yan, he would devour every single person here. The North Dragon King suddenly stepped forward. The blood-red greatsword in his hand carried a thick, bloody sword aura as it slashed viciously toward Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan casually struck out with a yellow spring palm to meet it. However, the blood-chi greatsword in the North Dragon King's hand hacked down like lightning and forcefully split the energy palm print in two. Immediately afterward, he swung again, sending 3 enormous sword beams tearing through the air toward Xiao Yan. Facing the North Dragon King's fierce offensive, the bone wings on Xiao Yan's back flapped repeatedly, allowing him to dodge. Yet before he could steady himself, another wave of violent attacks came rushing over, forcing him slightly onto the back foot. After clashing head-on with the North Dragon King for some time, a grave look finally flashed through Xiao Yan's eyes. Against an opponent like this, ordinary Do techniques would not have much effect. Xiao Yan's gaze flickered. Suddenly, he restrained all the aura around his body, while both hands swiftly formed one unfamiliar seal after another. At the same time, little E inside his body abruptly opened his eyes and appeared between Xiao Yan's brows. His tiny hands also began forming the exact same seals as Xiao Yan. Seeing Xiao Yan's actions, the North Dragon King gave a cold laugh. Xiao Yan, you think someone like you can fight this king? Wishful thinking. As soon as his voice fell, the great sword in his hand carried a sharp gale as it slashed viciously toward Xiao Yan's head. Man and flame merged. Destructive flame body. As Xiao Yan and Little Yi's hand seals solidified at the same time, the tiny lotus flowers within Xiao Yan's pupils began to spin wildly. A towering aura, one that was nearly destructive, swept out from within his body like a storm. Xiao Yan's entire body began to burn. As flames spread over him, his body gradually became crystal clear and translucent. The destructive flame body could release the energy of a heavenly flame to the absolute limit, then fuse it with the physical body. This required a near-perfect level of control over the heavenly flame, so no one would dare attempt it lightly. Xiao Yan only dared use it because of Little Yi's existence. The power of this destructive flame body was almost absurd. In a sense, Xiao Yan was now equivalent to a mobile destructive flame lotus. Its only flaw was that its consumption of Do Qi was terrifying. With Xiao Yan's current strength, he could only maintain it for 1 minute. Xiao Yan's transformation caused the North Dragon King's heart to fill with vigilance. From Xiao Yan's body, he had sensed a genuine threat. Immediately, the North Dragon King formed a seal, then shouted darkly, "Blood Dragon swallows the heavens." As his shout fell, the dragon transformation demon formation suddenly churned violently. Soon after, a hideous blood dragon even larger than the entire dragon island gathered in the sky. The blood dragon opened its ferocious jaws. An array of blood light 1,000 feet wide shot out from its mouth, blasting violently toward Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan watched as the blood light rapidly enlarged in his eyes. The fire wings on his back trembled lightly, and under countless shocked gazes, he collided directly with the blood light. The instant the two collided, the blood light collapsed on contact. Xiao Yan's figure shot forward like a meteor, charging rapidly toward the blood dragon. Facing Xiao Yan's attack, madness surged within the eyes of the blood dragon controlled by the North Dragon King. A blood bead half a zhang wide condensed in its mouth. Instantly, an incomparably bloody stench spread throughout this empty space. Madness filled the North Dragon King's eyes as he directly shot the blood bead toward Xiao Yan. However, Xiao Yan showed no intention of stopping. He charged straight into the blood bead. Yet the imagined explosion did not occur. Instead, waves of almost tangible pink flame spread out from Xiao Yan's palm. Under the influence of those flame waves, the bloody aura on the bead rapidly faded. In the end, it turned into a pink light ball the size of a human head. Xiao Yan flicked his finger. The pink light ball suddenly shot toward the North Dragon King. Seeing this, terror instantly appeared on the North Dragon King's face. Without another word, his body hurriedly retreated. He knew better than anyone how terrifying the energy within that bead was. If he were struck by it, he would truly be finished this time. Although the North Dragon King was extremely fast, the pink bead caught up to him in the blink of an eye. Then, within his suddenly contracted pupils, it exploded with earth-shaking force. A frightening energy storm swept wildly from the site of the explosion. When the storm finally dispersed, an extremely battered figure appeared under everyone's gaze. Looking at this scene, even Xiao Yan could not help sighing. The body of the Taishu ancient dragon really is ridiculously tough. Xiao Yan, remember this. This king will definitely repay this grudge. The moment his words fell, the North Dragon King turned and fled like smoke. Seeing this, Xiao Yan flapped the bone wings on his back and chased after him like lightning. In just a few flickers, he appeared above the North Dragon King's head, his hand swiftly reaching toward the crown of the latter's skull. The North Dragon King knew he could no longer escape. With a ruthless heart, he actually chose to self-destruct. However, this self-destruction was forcefully suppressed by Xiao Yan's yellow spring heaven's wrath. Just as the North Dragon King was still calming the intense soul impact within him, Xiao Yan's palm had already landed on his head. In the next instant, a scorching force rushed into his mind and forcibly evaporated his soul into nothingness. Thus, the ambitious ruler of his generation, the North Dragon King, officially fell. Xiao Yan's crystal-clear body gradually returned to normal. His gaze fell upon the corpse of the North Dragon King in his hand, and he raised his brows with interest. This body is quite a good treasure. As Xiao Yan was holding the North Dragon King's corpse, Ziyan also flashed over. She looked at the North Dragon King, whose face still carried a sinister and ferocious expression, with a complicated gaze before letting out a soft sigh. After so many years of internal strife, the Taishu ancient dragon tribe is already extremely ruined. Back then, the disappearance of the Dragon Emperor caused far too much turmoil within the tribe. After the two exchanged a few polite words, Xiao Yan suddenly said to Ziyan, "Can you leave this thing to me?" Ziyan was surprised and asked, "What do you want his corpse for?" Xiao Yan hesitated for a moment, then said, "This fellow's physique is extremely strong. After being tempered by that so-called dragon transformation demon formation, it has become even more terrifying. If I refine it into a puppet, its power definitely won't be weak." The heavenly demon puppets he had once possessed had already been thrown into the star realm to guard the entrance. Because of the limitations of their materials, those heavenly demon puppets had reached their limit at the Do Venerate level and could no longer make further breakthroughs. Helpers of that level no longer had the slightest use for the current Xiao Yan. That was why, upon seeing the North Dragon King's body, Xiao Yan had thought of refining it into a puppet. In any case, the fellow was already dead. It could be considered making use of waste. According to the rules of the ancient dragon tribe, the bodies of our experts are usually buried within the dragon tomb. Ziyan's brows furrowed slightly. Then she looked at Xiao Yan's face and said playfully, "But you helped my tribe a great deal this time. Asking for a little reward is only natural. Besides, this guy is hated to death by the clansmen now. Even if we brought him back, who knows whether he would actually be allowed to be buried in the dragon tomb. If you need him, then take him." Seeing this girl speak to him so officially, Xiao Yan laughed. "Then many thanks, Lord Dragon Emperor." With the fall of the three great dragon kings, the internal strife of the Taishu ancient dragon tribe finally came to an end. The 4 dragon islands, which had originally been split apart, were once again brought together. From then on, the Taishu ancient dragon tribe was formally unified. As for Xiao Yan, he remained on Dragon Island and entered seclusion again. The purpose of this seclusion was to refine the North Dragon King's body into a puppet. This time, the materials Xiao Yan needed for refining the puppet could be said to have turned Dragon Island's storehouse upside down. After all the preparations were complete, Xiao Yan threw the North Dragon King's body into a giant cauldron formed from pink flames and began 10 days of tempering. After being tempered by the heavenly flame for some time, the North Dragon King's body actually became even more terrifying. Unexpectedly, just as the tempering step had been completed, the North Dragon King's tightly shut eyes suddenly opened. A familiar sinister laugh rang out immediately after. Xiao Yan, thank you for helping this king complete this stage of tempering. As thanks, I'll let you witness the terror of this body. If you want to blame something, blame yourself for only scattering my soul. Outside the cauldron, the North Dragon King, whose body now shone with a black iron luster, raised his head and laughed wildly. Then his large hand suddenly grabbed toward Xiao Yan. Facing this sudden attack from the North Dragon King, the smile on Xiao Yan's face did not diminish in the slightest. He simply stretched out a finger and lightly tapped. The North Dragon King's body abruptly stiffened. Pink flames suddenly erupted from within him and swiftly engulfed his entire body. Damn it! What did you do to this king? This change caused the North Dragon King to become both shocked and furious, and he roared aloud. North Dragon King, did you think that using a soul-concealing technique in front of me would escape my eyes? You underestimate me far too much. Facing that roar, Xiao Yan only smiled faintly. His soul power far surpassed the North Dragon King's. How could he possibly make such a low-level mistake as overlooking a remnant soul? However, the scene before him was exactly what Xiao Yan had most hoped to see. The North Dragon King had possessed extremely rich combat experience in life. As long as Xiao Yan refined this remnant soul and perfectly fused it with the puppet he created would become a true killing machine. That day, Xiao Yan had scattered the North Dragon King's soul, but he had deliberately left one remnant soul hidden within the body. This remnant soul had also inherited the viciousness of the North Dragon King's original self. During this period, it had remained hidden, waiting until Xiao Yan had refined the body into an extremely powerful state before suddenly making its move and attempting to kill him. Unfortunately, it did not know that this was precisely the trap Xiao Yan had set. Only by fusing this remnant soul with the body could the puppet be considered truly perfect. Found you. Xiao Yan looked at the North Dragon King, who was surrounded by flames, and smiled faintly. At this moment, the latter also seemed to realize something, and terror surfaced in his eyes. However, before his voice could fully fall, Xiao Yan waved his hand coldly. The purifying lotus demon flame surged forward, and its terrifyingly high temperature instantly refined him completely. As the North Dragon King's final remnant soul was refined, a faint illusory current suddenly appeared and quietly merged into the puppet's mind. Xiao Yan looked at the black figure in front of him and let out a slight breath of relief. Then he forced out a drop of blood essence and placed it on the center of the puppet's brows. A feeling of mental connection was immediately born. From now on, you will be called North King. Hearing Xiao Yan's words, the strong black figure's face moved slightly. In the end, a cold, emotionless, hoarse voice slowly came out. Yes. This puppet was different from the previous heavenly demon puppets. Heavenly demon puppets lacked intelligence and relied entirely on their master's control. But now, North King only needed a thought from Xiao Yan to act on his own. In battle, he did not display the clumsiness of a puppet at all. He was almost no different from the North Dragon King reborn. The current North King should be able to fight a 5-star Do Saint expert. However, Xiao Yan was still somewhat dissatisfied. The North Dragon King's own strength had been close to that of a 6-star Do Saint. Added to his powerful physique, the limit of this puppet should not stop here. It's time to go to that place. After thinking for a moment, Xiao Yan smiled. Without staying any longer, he turned and walked straight out of the quiet room. Behind him, North King followed closely like his shadow. In the pitch-black void, a continuous series of deep thunder rumbles suddenly sounded. Looking over, one could see silver light flashing at the end of the darkness. Huge bolts of lightning roared furiously like giant dragons. At this moment, Xiao Yan was suspended in midair, his gaze fixed on the enormous lightning pool ahead. This was precisely the place where he had once tempered the heavenly demon puppets. It was also where he had first met the Inner Academy's headmaster, Huang Tian of the Lei clan. At that time, Huang Tian had been chased into a miserable state by some strange black lightning. Back then, Xiao Yan only knew that it was extremely terrifying and did not dare approach it lightly. His target now was precisely those black bolts of lightning that had once sent Huang Tian fleeing in such a sorry manner. He needed to borrow the lightning power of this void lightning pool to allow North King to reach a truly perfect state. Looking at the wildly surging lightning within the void lightning pool, Xiao Yan flew inside. Along the way, he did not stop at all and headed straight for the deepest part of the lightning pool. With the purifying lotus demon flame protecting him, the lightning power here actually did not dare approach rashly. It seems the third ranking on the heavenly flame ranking truly isn't undeserved. Although the void lightning pool was extremely vast, with Xiao Yan's speed, he approached the depths in less than 10 minutes. Xiao Yan looked ahead at the clusters of black lightning, and even his eyes could not help flashing with amazement. It was unbelievable. This kind of black demon lightning, which usually only appeared when refining 9th-tier medicinal pills, actually existed here in such terrifying quantities. The power of heaven and earth really is mysterious beyond measure. Xiao Yan gently shook his head, but he did not immediately allow North King to absorb the lightning power. Considering the number of black demon lightning bolts, if he carelessly drew all of them over, it would become quite troublesome. Therefore, he chose to sit cross-legged outside the black demon lightning region and carefully observe the situation within the lightning pool. After observing for nearly an hour and confirming that no unexpected situation had occurred, Xiao Yan finally felt slightly relieved. With a thought from him, North King stepped forward without hesitation and walked toward the depths of the lightning pool. Xiao Yan nervously watched North King, whose entire body was wrapped in black arcs of lightning. Not long after, joy surfaced in his eyes. The lightning power was indeed effective on North King. However, before the smile could fully appear on his face, all the hair on his body suddenly stood upright. He slowly raised his head and saw huge black bolts of lightning appearing around North King, circling him like giant dragons. They were still attracted over after all. Xiao Yan helplessly shook his head. Then, with a thought, North King, who was surrounded by numerous black demon lightning bolts, stomped his foot against empty space. His body shot out like a cannonball. North King's movement undoubtedly ignited the tense atmosphere in the region. Many black demon lightning bolts trembled almost simultaneously. One massive black thunderbolt after another chased North King at astonishing speed, then smashed fiercely into his body. Deep within the lightning pool, enormous sounds rang out continuously. The black demon lightning bolts pounced toward North King like fierce dragons, but each time they touched his body, a flash of black light appeared, and they vanished without a trace. At the same time, the black lightning arcs on North King's body became even denser. Outside that region, Xiao Yan watched the scene and clicked his tongue in admiration. In his heart, he felt extremely pleased. At this rate, North King should be able to rise to the level of a 6-star Do Saint within half a month. Xiao Yan smiled, marveling at the speed. Yet just as he was preparing to close his eyes and rest, a strand of black demon lightning the thickness of an arm suddenly drifted toward him. Then, under his surprised gaze, it struck his body. Such a small black demon lightning bolt was no threat to Xiao Yan. But at the instant of contact, the pink flame on the surface of Xiao Yan's body suddenly rolled up and swallowed the black demon lightning directly. This scene left Xiao Yan slightly stunned. Just as he wanted to investigate where the black demon lightning had gone, he suddenly felt an extremely pure energy surge from within his body. It then flowed through his entire body, bringing a faint numb sensation that made every organ inside him burst with an unusually comfortable and joyful feeling. This is the devouring power of the Nihility devouring flame. The sudden energy caused Xiao Yan to be startled. Firelight flashed on his shoulder, and Little E appeared. Little E looked toward the distant black demon lightning, and a trace of drool unconsciously appeared at the corner of his mouth. Immediately, his small mouth sucked in, and a powerful devouring force erupted violently. The nearby black demon lightning was swiftly pulled toward Xiao Yan and finally swallowed by Little E in a single bite. At the same time, a pure force suddenly surged from within Xiao Yan's body and eventually dispersed throughout every part of him. At this moment, Xiao Yan finally understood the source of this energy. His heartbeat could not help quickening. When these energies that brought a numb sensation merged within his body, he discovered that his strength, which had not changed since he left the demon flame space, had actually begun to slowly increase. Xiao Yan looked toward the distant sea of densely packed black demon lightning. An extremely heated light flashed in his eyes. With little Yi's refining and devouring ability, these black demon lightning bolts, which were like the sides of death in the eyes of ordinary people, had become the most perfect supplements in all of heaven and earth to him. These are all mine. Xiao Yan's gaze turned toward little Yi on his shoulder. The only one capable of withstanding the impact of such violent energy as the black demon lightning was probably this body formed from a flame spirit. After sensing Xiao Yan's attention, little Yi immediately flew out and appeared above a cluster of black demon lightning. A powerful devouring force pulled in all the lightning bolts it touched. At the same time, Xiao Yan also sat cross-legged in the air. The energy inside his body circulated along the path of the flame mantra, and eventually transformed into dense do qi that filled his entire body. During cultivation, 1 month quietly passed. After 1 month of tempering by black demon lightning, North King's body had become even stronger. The current him was enough to fight a true 6-star do saint without falling behind. However, when North King's body was strengthened to this level, it seemed to have touched some kind of limit. No matter how much lightning he absorbed after that, the effect became extremely small. The same problem appeared on Xiao Yan 1 month later. After crazily devouring lightning for a month, Xiao Yan and little Yi had gained quite a lot. Xiao Yan had not only advanced from the early stage of the 5-star do saint level to the middle stage, he had even reached the peak of the middle stage. As for little Yi, after swallowing a large amount of black demon lightning, traces of black demon lightning had appeared within the purifying lotus demon flame, causing its attack power to increase once again. However, the same issue North King had encountered eventually appeared in Xiao Yan's body after a month. The originally obvious speed of strength improvement greatly slowed, forcing him to exit his cultivation state. I was just a little short of entering the late stage of 5-star do saint. What a pity. Xiao Yan sensed the condition inside his body for a moment, then shook his head regretfully. It's time to leave. Xiao Yan gave a soft sigh. However, just as he was preparing to leave, the depths of the lightning pool, which had gradually calmed down, suddenly began to fluctuate violently. Black lightning flashed across the entire sky and gathered toward a dark central region. This scene caused Xiao Yan to pause. His brows immediately furrowed, and his gaze locked onto the depths of the lightning pool. Vaguely, a peculiar and powerful pressure spread from that place. This pressure was similar to that of black demon lightning, but its intensity was countless times greater. A moment later, Xiao Yan slowly rose into the air and rushed toward that region. The closer he got to that dark area, the denser that strange pressure became. Eventually, Xiao Yan's footsteps abruptly stopped. At this moment, shock filled his eyes as he stared at the center of the sea of lightning. There, a gigantic dragon, golden from head to tail as though cast from gold, was coiled. Golden lightning shot out from the surface of its body. This was the pill lightning that only a 9th-tier golden pill could summon. 9 mysterious golden lightning. 9 mysterious golden lightning ranked 5th among all lightning. It was comparable to the purifying lotus demon flame on the heavenly flame ranking. It would only appear when a 9th-tier golden pill was refined, and every time it appeared, it would trigger heavenly phenomena. Even an ordinary do saint expert would be reduced to ash instantly if touched by just a little of it. And yet, 9 mysterious golden lightning had actually been born here. Even with Xiao Yan's composure, he found it difficult to breathe at this moment. Only after a long while did he let out a low murmur, his voice filled with shock and disbelief. Golden lightning in the shape of a giant dragon hovered deep within the lightning sea. The dense black demon lightning around it circled nearby, as if worshipping their king. Seeing this, Xiao Yan could not help swallowing. The tiny sound was unusually loud in the silent space. Suddenly, quite a few black demon lightning bolts turned around and rushed toward Xiao Yan like giant pythons. Seeing this, Xiao Yan hurriedly retreated. Although he was not afraid of black demon lightning, he was deeply wary of that seemingly sleeping lightning dragon. According to his estimate, the strength of this lightning dragon might be comparable to that of a 7-star do saint. To Xiao Yan, That was simply an irresistible existence. So the moment he realized he had been discovered, he turned and ran without hesitation. However, his escape drew more and more black demon lightning after him. For a time, the depths of the lightning pool began to boil. Just then, a sudden chill caused every hair on Xiao Yan's body to stand upright. Xiao Yan hurriedly looked back and saw that deep within the lightning pool, the golden lightning dragon was slowly opening its dragon eyes. Damn it! That big guy woke up. Facing those cold dragon eyes that held not the slightest emotional fluctuation, Xiao Yan felt extreme fear and hurriedly sped toward the outside of the lightning pool. When the golden lightning dragon saw Xiao Yan fleeing, its dragon mouth opened. 100 Zhonglong bolt of golden lightning instantly shot out, almost immediately catching up to Xiao Yan. Feeling the golden lightning rapidly approaching from behind, Little E hurriedly stepped forward. His devouring power erupted with all its strength, and he actually swallowed that golden lightning. At the same time, Xiao Yan pleasantly discovered that his originally stagnant strength had begun to slowly increase again. Little E immediately pushed the devouring power to its limit and swallowed all of the golden lightning in one breath. He had broken through. As more and more vast energy surged into Xiao Yan's body, his body suddenly trembled, and wild joy flashed in his eyes. Borrowing the power of the 9 mysterious golden lightning, he had actually risen directly to the late stage of 5-star Do Saint. This had saved him at least half a year of cultivation, showing just how terrifying Xiao Yan's rate of improvement truly was. Go! Relying on Little E to devour that strand of 9 mysterious golden lightning, Xiao Yan's figure rapidly retreated. Yet as he withdrew, his gaze once again turned toward the depths of the lightning sea. There, the golden lightning dragon's enormous body suddenly erupted with massive arcs of lightning, forcing all the surrounding black demon lightning to retreat far away. Spiritual energy is gathering. This 9 mysterious golden lightning is forming a spirit. This scene caused Xiao Yan, who had originally been retreating at high speed, to suddenly stop. His eyes flickered rapidly. This so-called spirit formation referred to the birth of intelligence. If the 9 mysterious golden lightning succeeded, then it would become an existence similar to the former purifying lotus demon flame. A 9 mysterious golden lightning with its own intelligence. Of course, this was not what Xiao Yan hoped for. During the process of forming a spirit, the 9 mysterious golden lightning would enter an extremely weakened state. Thinking of this, even someone with Xiao Yan's self-control could not stop his heart from pounding violently.